Guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those of you stuck in between a sneeze and not sneezing, welcome to the Sean and Sax Show. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to our world. I just realized that you didn't bring your water bottle. I think you purposely left your water bottle at home.
You were going to give it to me as a gift.
On the show? Guys, I got...
It almost looks like it.
Should we tell everybody? I'm not telling everybody yet.
I think we should wait.
I'll just tell you this. We went to the... we were just out on a drive the other night. It was a beautiful night. We're like, let's just go for a drive. And we went for a drive, and we drove past one of those... How do we say, sex stores? We drove past one of those sex stores, and we said, let's go in. And we went in, and we bought some things, which were great. They were fun. And I bought you a present. You're going to need to, if you're listening to this is not going to make any, you really won't care, but if you're watching this will be your... This will be your invitation to watch this podcast because the water bottle that I got her is unbelievably fucking hilarious.
It just reaffirms that you can make money doing or selling anything.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So I got Sax a water bottle. We'll probably, I forgot to bring it. She forgot to bring it. I think she purposely forgot to bring it. But it'll be on the next episode. I assure you, I will make sure of it. It's a great water bottle.
Maybe we'll just make that episode. We'll just talk about sex toys.
We could do that.
Because... that would be fitting.
We got a couple. We could review them.
We did.
We've always talked about that. We should do that. Guys, let us know what you think. Should we review sex toys?
You know, I think so because they've really come a long way. No pun intended.
We have or they have?
No, the sex toy industry.
Yeah.
They used to be, just hard plastic and like screw-on caps and like I'm pretty impressed. Like some really creative people out there really out with a mission.
We spent a solid hour in there.
Yeah, to make
looking
sex
at things
more interesting.
Some of them are just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you gonna do literally with like a 24-inch giant fucking rubber dildo? Like, besides hit each other with it or throw it against the wall or something like that. Like, it's literally like a physical impossibility for this thing to create pleasure. I don't know. Maybe it can. I don't know, but. I can't fathom what someone would do that. There are lots of cool things.
I was really impressed by the whole blowjob contraption.
That was really cool.
It was like $300.
Yeah.
But, I thought if you weren't getting blowjobs in your life and someone invented that for you, that's really dope that exists.
You used to just have, and this is not what we're talking about today, but we're already talking about it. You used to just have like the little pocket pussy thing, which was... the silicone thing, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Mom, I know Mom's listening to this. Mom still hasn't
Damn
Googled.
it, Joan.
A couple episodes ago, we went down the rabbit hole, and Mom asked me what a butt plug was, and I didn't know how to fucking answer that. Besides, just Google it, Mom. So you can Google this stuff too, the pocket pussy. But now they have like full blown robotic, automatic. Push a button, 67 modes, 97 speeds, lay back and enjoy the ride kind of a deal.
That's safer sex than the alternative.
It's $350. I'm like, what the fuck does this thing do?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I didn't get it. Maybe we should. I don't really need it.
Just watch you. How is it?
Good.
Is it going well for you right now?
I would use it one time like, this is not as good. Like, you come over here. You do this. Anyways, moral of the story, I got her a great gift. Sex toys are fantastic. We got a couple, and they're really they're really cool. We Saxony and I, encourage you guys to spice up the sex life. Get some toys. Go. It is kind of funny, though, being in that store. Like, because there's the two stores. Like, you walk in, and then there's all the lingerie and all the slutty clothes and shit like that, whatever. And then there's, like, the secret room where you have to show your ID and da-da-da-da-da. And then they're not really nice. It was interesting. They're not very nice there. They weren't, nice. They weren't like, hey, welcome to the store. Like, let me see your ID. And maybe they just get a bunch of dirtbags or weirdos that go in there, but, like.
It's probably the case.
I asked the one girl a really funny question, and listening to her answer, because they have these vibrators that like you can put in like your panties, and they're remote control, so I can control like when it's on or off or whatever. And like some go in the girl, and then some don't, and there's like lots of different options. And so I was asking her, I was like, where are the vibrators like that she can use and I can control? And she's like, well, do you want the penetration ones or the not penetration ones or the panty ones? She's like, this one has magnets. Like you put a magnet on one side of the panties and you put the vibrator on the other. And I was like, this shit's getting like bougie. Like this is next level, you know, hopefully you don't ever fall in a pool or like get electrocuted or these things become dangerous. But anyways, I guess technically it's in your vagina. So you could it's probably waterproof.
Probably.
I didn't think that one through. All right. Anyways, okay. So we'll do a sex toy review episode eventually, and I'm going to show you the gift I got her. So guys, we wanted to talk about something today. This has come up a number of times in our DMs. People asking a lot about this, and we were talking over the last couple of days because this is something that we're both very invested in, that we both very much like, and something that has, I truly believe, helped our relationship, our marriage a lot in dating. I would say probably more than anything else. It's date nights. And the date nights that we do, and it sounds really simple and it sounds really elementary, but there are, in fact, I just did a Q&A on Instagram and asked people, and the question that comes up significantly is, you know, how do you like invest both in home and at work? You know what I mean? Like, how do you have time for these things? And there's a lot of people that ask the question, like, how do you create time for the family? Or how do you create time for this? How do you create time for date nights and all these other things? And I'm really, really, really surprised how few people have a regular date night.
Right.
A regular date night. Like, not, you know what I mean? There's some people that are like, we haven't been on a date, like a legit date, in who knows how long. And one of the things that Sax and I were talking about right before this is, like, we have friends and we know people that have a number of children. Like, we have 5 kids, like, that are constantly in that state of, I can't leave the kids, or the kids come with us, or this.
Or if I leave, the repercussions, it's going to take me forever to clean up after all that.
And it ends up being this, like, huge ordeal to not leave the kids, right? And this is something that Sax and I do every single week. Every Wednesday night is date night. And if we need to move it, we move it. If we've got something, or if we're traveling, or
very rare we move it.
Right, very rare that we move it, but it is Wednesday night is date night, and it's just, it's already programmed, it's already there, right? But the reason that we wanted to share this is because we found some success with it. We have some tips, I guess you could say, that work for us that we wanted to share with you guys that might be able to help you, and try them if you want. Don't, either way, it's fine. But date night for us is non-negotiable. Once a week. This is a weeknight that we pick that is our date night. And it doesn't matter who's got what going on. It doesn't matter what function is happening. It doesn't matter what the kids have or don't have, or this or that or the other. It's like Wednesday night is our date night.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter. Like, even if we're in a tiff and we're not totally vibing with each other, date night is non-negotiable.
We don't cancel date night because we're mad. We don't cancel it because dumb shit. It's like, date night is non-negotiable. And so I wanted to kind of cover a couple different things with this. One of the things that Sax and I are committed to, I mean, this transcends just dating and relationships to every aspect of your life, you know? We get tired lifting weights, and so we just stop when we're tired versus stopping when we're done, right? You're supposed to do 12 reps, but you're tired at 10, so you put the weights down, versus pushing your ass to get to 12, right? You know, you're tired and you don't want to make the sales calls at work, and da-da-da-da-da, and blah, 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 and all of the other shit. And it's like, you know, the ability for us to negotiate things in our life, in my opinion, is why we don't get results. It's moving things around, or saying, I don't feel like it, or I'm mad at you, so we're not going to do date night tonight. Or, you know, my back hurts, and so I'm not going to go to the gym. Or I twisted my ankle, so I'm not going to go work out. Or, you know, my boss is an asshole, so I'm not going to work. And we're in this constant state of negotiating things. And one of the things for Saxony and I that is just it's an unspoken is that Wednesday night is date night. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. It doesn't matter how crazy I've been, how crazy you've been. Like, it is on the books and it is happening. And it's surprising to me to know how few people, number one, even have date night. Number two, like, well, when do we want to do it? Right? That's this philosophy, guys, and hear me. If you're someone who says, well, babe, when do we want to do date night this week? You're going to be in this constant state of wondering, and then guess what'll happen? you say Tuesday, but Tuesday afternoon the boss calls and you've got a big project and babe, I can't. Let's just do it next week, or let's do it this, or let's do that. These are the same people that walk into the gym and say, what do we want to do today? Mm-hmm. It's the same philosophy. And these are the same people that don't have results. These are the same people that look like shit. You see them on the elliptical for the last 6 years and they've never changed. When you walk into the gym and you're like, well, what should we do today? Don't be surprised why you don't get a good workout.
Yep.
When you're kind of going, well, when do we want to do date night, or should we do it, or when can we do it, or you know what, this week's really busy, let's just do it next week. Don't be surprised why your relationship is not where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So for us, like, rule number one is it's non-negotiable. It happens every single week. Mm-hmm. It's booked and scheduled Wednesday, and it has to be a truly like earth-shattering thing for it to not happen. Like, we literally have to be out of town, or you have to be someplace, or I have to be someplace. And,
right.
But we literally on Sunday nights when we're planning, if I know I'm gone, it's like, when will date night be? Not, well, let's catch it next week. Mm-mm. We do date night every week. Now, I want to preface this because there's a bunch of people listening going, well, that's nice because but, right? Mm-hmm. We have 5 kids. We run multiple businesses, employees. I get tired, you get tired. I get mad, you get mad. Mm. All of the excuses that anybody listening to this could share right now, we could as well.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pat us on the back right now because I don't know when we haven't had it since we've been dating and since we've been married, right?
For sure.
It is every single week. And I share this with you guys simply because knowing that you're having it, knowing that it is booked, knowing that you're committed to it, right? It's something that I look forward to, you look forward to, right?
Yeah.
You're always talking about that. Like, you're always Instagramming. It's almost like Wednesday you wake up and you're like, it's date night.
I do. Almost every Wednesday I do. I wake up and I'm like, hey, babe, it's date night. I look forward to date night. Like, it's my favorite day of the week. You know, we have a lot of cool things going on, but there's something I value and love my marriage very, very much. And so for me, it's like getting to have that quality time, because that's my love language, of us going on a date. Like, that's so fun for me. It could literally be the same type of thing we did on Tuesday, but it's just the fact that I know in my head it's date night. And there's a whole energy that comes with that, you know. Most Wednesdays, there's an extra focus of flirting during the day. You know,
I get way more naked pictures from you on Wednesday than any other day of the week.
It's because I'm like getting in the headspace. And for women, that's actually a big thing to talk about. Getting mentally prepared for that date night. So that means, if that means, you know, starting to focus more on, you know, that connection with your husband, even if you're taking care of kids during the day, like, start almost like foreplaying that energy. So that way when date night arrives, you're already open, you're already excited. You don't have the stress of the kids that now you're trying to energetically almost disconnect from the kids and get into that space. Like, I start energetically getting into date night from that morning.
I seriously think you start getting ready for date night at like 2 p.m. I'll be like, babe, it's 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever it is, whatever we plan. It's like 2 p.m. and she's sending me some picture with her in some lingerie. She's like, date night, tonight's date night. And then there'll be like 5 minutes later, there'll be a different outfit and be like, which one should I wear for date night? And I'm like, I'm trying to fucking work.
Well, and coincidentally, Wednesday is one of your busiest days of the week. That's when you do your den call. It's when you have a lot going on. So it is kind of funny.
Yeah. But it's true. And I want to share the conversation in the sense, like, you share your perspective and things you do. I do the same thing. But one of the things that we both, it's probably 90-10 on who plans date night, right? And the only time I don't is when you take the reins or say, hey, I've got something, or I'm doing something, or I buy tickets to a show or whatever it is, right? But 90% of the time I plan date night. And I want to share this, guys, for you to pay attention to, that it's not a wing it, right? There's a lot of times that I have something in my mind. Case in point, we went on a razor ride yesterday up the canyon. And literally, I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing. The last month and a half, it's the summertime. We live in Utah. It's beautiful. We're literally right near the mountains. I've got these cool razors and the whole thing. Like, every date night, I have been planning for like literally the last probably 6 weeks to go up the canyon. I literally stop at the gas station. I grab a little thing of wood. Yeah, I can chop down trees and whatever, but it's the canyon that we go up. It's not, public forest and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to chop down fucking trees. Anyways, I'll stop. I get a little cooler. I get some food, some drinks, whatever, throw a thing of wood in there, and we're off to the races. And it has rained like every Wednesday for the last 6 weeks. But I share this simply because one of the things that I am constantly doing is it's not running home from the office going, all right, babe, let's go. And I'm still connected to work. I'm still connected to what's going on and whatever. Mm-hmm. Make a plan. I have a plan, right? I'm looking for things to do, guys. Like the same way that we go look at cars or we look at watches or we look at fishing poles or hunting rifles or whatever. Yeah. You spend the same amount of time like looking at things. What shows are in town? What movies are out? Like what plays are happening? What things are going on here? What does your wife like? Do you even know what your wife likes? Like, what is she into? Random shit that she might not be into, that you might not be into, but that you can go and experience together. We love floating, like a date night activity. We'll go to dinner and we'll go to a float spot. And we'll do a 90-minute, sensory deprivation tank or, any of these things. So one of the things that has really helped me is in not only planning that and having that night set aside is knowing I'm always looking for different things to do. Mm-hmm. And there are some date nights where literally both of us communicate and we're like, yo, like, why don't we just go get some food, bring it home, take a bath, watch a movie, whatever. And that ends up being a phenomenal date night. And it's not a cop-out because there aren't 10,000 things to do. We've got the Harley. We go on Harley rides. We go up the canyon. We go here. We go there. We go out to dinner. The point I'm making is like planning something. Yeah. Like planning something, not just coming in the door going, all right, babe, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Because share this with us. Which is more attractive to you or which turns you on more, babe? You knowing that I have something planned or that I've put thought into this or that I have intentionally and purposely gone and taken action to find a restaurant, make a dinner, get a basket or a cooler and put shit in it and to go up the canyon or whatever, or just showing up going, all right, what do we want to do while I'm still texting work and I'm still connected, whatever.
Those are powerfully different. One of them says, you matter, this matters, I value this, I've invested in it to the point where I have a plan.
Right.
And it could be something so simple, but that speaks volumes to your investment and truly like where you're at with your relationship. And women are really, we have intuition that's really, really strong. And if you're showing up with that type of energy, what you're really telling us is this doesn't matter to me. Right. It's not a priority of mine. But this is the same for women, is if I'm not preparing myself, mentally to be all in with this game, this date with my husband, I'm also telling him I don't value this. And so there's a great responsibility we have in how we show up in life and how we show up in relationships, because, if we don't value them, we might not have them forever. Just like anything, if we don't care about it, we don't feed it, we don't water it, we don't tend to it, it may die and it may leave us. And so, and not in like a scarcity way of thinking, but nourish what you really want in your life. Like if you really want a partner that shows up with a plan, that shows up with this, then be the reflection of that. Like, model that. We've talked about this a lot. Like model what you want in your life. And so, I know that the more excited and sexual and flirty I am with you, the more gung-ho you are to like really make date night happen.
And it's not just about getting laid.
No.
It's not just about sex at the end of the night. Oh, heavens no. It's about that connection.
Yeah.
It's about that flirtiness. It's like flirtiness period is good.
Yeah.
Like sending pictures is good. This connection is what Sax is talking about, which is really, really, really important, is you getting geared up for date night and feeling sexy and wearing something sexy or making that the investment. Me spending time thinking about something. And there's times where it's simple. Like our very first date was literally sitting on a blanket overlooking a lake having a conversation with gas station food and gas station beer, right? and there's I think a misconception that this has to be bougie and we have to go to the fanciest of steakhouses and we have to spend gobs and gobs and gobs of money. Like our first date, and I think it's probably very indicative of our relationship and why we're married now, is I literally picked Sax up on a Harley and had a blanket in the box. We stopped by a gas station, grabbed some drinks and some nuts and some food, and sat on a blanket and we talked for 3-4 hours. Yeah. And so that connection is what really, really, really matters. And you said something in there that is extremely important. It is an investment without question. You know, we men look at our investments with our money carefully. You know, we don't just whip money around and throw it around and see what happens, but like we research shit. We're researching cryptocurrencies or stocks or hard assets or real estate or mobile home parks or any of these things that we're putting our money into. Right? We spend time researching this investment, putting due diligence into this investment. And I'd have you consider for a second, friends, that like your relationship is no different and date night is no different. Be researching, be doing due diligence on, like, I mean, you've got Facebook, right? Facebook has the events tab. It could tell wherever you fucking are in whatever city you're in, it tells you what's going on, what museums are open, what things are here, what concerts are in town, what rallies are happening, all this other shit. I mean, literally, it's not that hard. Like, this doesn't require multiple assistants and 6 days of planning for one date night. It takes you sometimes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, to 10 minutes, right? Like you could literally be sitting on the shitter and go to the events tab and go, oh shit, there's a concert in town. My wife likes concerts. Let me click on the button and buy a couple of tickets. We go to dinner and here's a great date night, right? But I think what's really important is what you said about like the conscious investment, right? Like knowing that this is important to us. And I think a lot of people, I don't want to say it not wears off, but it doesn't become important. We have kids and we have jobs and we have businesses and we have all of these other things. And what I've constantly heard over the years from other people, they talk about successful marriages and successful relationships, and you guys have all probably heard the same thing, is, you know, when things are difficult, you have to go back to what works. You have to go back to the basics. You have to go back to courting each other, right? And you hear people that have been married for 10, 12, 15 years are like, man, our sex life sucks. But what did your sex life suck when you guys were banging in the back of the car when you were first dating 15 years ago and you were horny as fuck and you were fucking every day? No, it didn't. So what changed? We changed. We, quote unquote, let life get in the way, or we got addicted to our patterns, or we just got lazy, or we got complacent, right? Like you fell in love, you connected, you guys thought about going and doing different things, you went and did different things. Like we were in where were we? New York, Jersey, and we went down to the boardwalk and we were playing little games, and like I won you that little fucking sloth, whatever the hell else it was, right? And we were literally sitting there on, like, eating ice cream and eating treats, and we went and got an apple. We ate way too much sugar. But whatever, it was fucking great. But like just literally walking around, being there and playing the little carnival games and stuff like that. It's like one of the real pivotal moments for me, and I want to share this story, is one of my clients probably 2 years ago hit me up. Very, very, very wealthy. I'll keep this story short. His marriage was struggling. Incredibly wealthy, like millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they have everything you could buy with money, with a big house, the cars, the whole thing, and their marriage was falling apart. And one of the challenges that I gave him, and knowing him and knowing his past and knowing his history, he and his wife met when they had nothing. He had nothing. Like literally, they were like a lot of other couples out there, just scraping by, right? Like I was going to school and she was supporting me while I was going to school, and you hear the story over and over again. Then all of a sudden you make it big, and now we hate each other. And it's like, I just told him, he's like, dude, we go to dinner and we get $1,000 bottles of wine and we go to the nicest places and this and the other. And I was like, that's all fine and dandy, but like where's the simplicity of things? And I challenged him to take I asked him what his very first date was, and he said we literally went to the river. We went down to this river by where we live, and I put out a blanket and I brought some sandwiches and had a little, literally like a little basket, a little picnic.
Cute.
And I said, dude, go make some peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Take your fucking Range Rover, drive to this place, go sit down on the side of the river and have a date. And a couple of days later, he called me and he's like, dude, it was one of the best nights that we've had in literally 10 years because I literally made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and it brought us all the way back to why we fell in love. And I share that because,
that's so sweet.
you know, I have been married and divorced, and I did things, I don't want to say wrong. I learned valuable lessons, and I learned what the ego does. I learned how something like date night being put to the side or not being important or not being valued or invested in can literally cost you your fucking marriage.
Yep, it can.
It can cost you your fucking marriage. And so I pray you guys don't take this conversation lightly, whether you're in a relationship, wanting to be in a relationship, struggling in a relationship, thriving in a relationship, understanding that you fell in love in the simplest of terms, right? Amen. And most all of us do. We all fell in love and created this love in the simplest of terms, the simplest of realities. Maybe you had some money, maybe you didn't. I'm not talking about the monetary aspect, but the simplicity of love, the simplicity of connection, the simplicity of conversations that weren't like when you were dating, your face wasn't buried in fucking Facebook. Shit, if you're our age, you were probably dating before Facebook even existed, right? So you actually sat and talked. And yeah, you have kids now, and yeah, you have dogs, and you have mortgage payments, and you have businesses. But what does that have to do with the simplicity of your relationship and the investment of your relationship and the true nature of that? And, you know, as someone who was married for 10 years, I look back and what did I learn? I learned that those were the things that I took for granted. Those are the things that stopped. The simple shit, the basic shit. Right. You start leveling up and the house gets bigger and the bills get more and the cars get bigger and you have more cars and you have more things and more this and the other. And you really lose track of the simple shit. I mean, when I got married, it was like I had nothing, man, nothing. And so going out to ice cream once a month was like, that was a big thing for us when I first got married, you know? And looking at it now, like you can go out and spend $500 on a bottle of wine and not even think about it, you know? But having that conversation with him and like knowing how you and I are, like some of my favorite date nights are literally just walking. We just walk around the mall. We go shopping. We literally just like spend time together being innocent, pure, simple, if you will. Yeah. We do bougie shit too. I love bougie shit. But at the end of the day, that simplicity is what really brought us together. Sitting on that blanket, having a multiple hour conversation where we were both like, yo, that was dope. Like I haven't had a conversation like that before. Right.
And the simple ones are the ones I love the most. We were out on the Razor last night and it
wasn't even date night.
And it wasn't even date night. I was rubbing your leg and I was just sitting there thinking about like of all the things we can do, because we're blessed. We work hard and we have the opportunity to do basically anything we want. Like moments like that of just being in nature, spending time together, getting all dirty, driving. You could hike, whatever that is. Like those are the moments that to me it's just like I'm so glad I'm doing life with this person. And it's almost like I think it's because it's quiet enough and still enough and not distracting enough to where I can actually have that gratitude. There's this space where I can actually feel, sometimes we do so much that we miss the time or giving space to feel things or have conversations. If we're going to movies and going to plays, that's where the simple is like, that's where the real connection comes in. And date night is especially important to me as a mother because I always have thought like what I'm doing, is that what I would like my children to be doing in their lives? And am I modeling a behavior or an action that I actually want my children to carry on or have in their life? And that's for good or bad. If I'm yelling and screaming at my husband and talking shit and down, like my children will be a witness to that. Right. And being a witness to that in the fact that our kids they all know Wednesday is date night. It is just like, oh yeah, date night, duh. Yeah. And so they don't plan whatever it is. And that
When
would
they watch us
that would
do
conflict
that,
with that, and they
right.
know we go on it, and they know we're consistent. And so to me as a mother, it's like, I love that our children know that we value each other. We're affectionate. They see affection. I think that's so powerfully important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cultures a lot of families that don't model affection, and that becomes a real confusing space, I think, as they grow into adulthood, of like, oh, well, I've never seen it, so therefore it's foreign to me. I don't know what that is. And that could be dating, that could be kissing, that could be hugging, that could be just, flirting. Like, I want our kids to be witnesses to all of that, because that's what I want in their life. Like, I want that love and affection and care for them when they are in their relationships.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, we had the Lions Den fly-in, and a question came up. We were doing a Q&A portion during the day, and this is very relevant to this conversation right now. And there's a lot of couples inside of the Lions Den, and I encourage that. Like, I strongly encourage that for a number of different reasons. But there was a couple that was here, and the question that he asked was, how do I disconnect from business? Remember what he was talking about on date night? He was sitting next to his wife, and it was a very emotional conversation. But he's like, how do I, I don't know how to shut it off to, not talk about business and not talk about these things, and to just talk about her and to talk about these things. And you could tell, there was this disconnect there. And it was a really powerful question, because everybody that was sitting there understands this question and vibes with this, and many of you probably do too, in the sense that, when we go on date night, all we're talking about is either the kids or we're talking about work, and all he wants to do is talk about work, and I want to talk about other things, or all she wants to do is talk about the kids, and I want to talk about other things. Now, I want to share this for a very specific reason, because the conversation that we had with them was, in my opinion, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And my question back to him was why is it that talking about business or work on date night is a bad thing? Why is it that you've pigeonholed yourself into, we can't talk about these things? And I looked at her, I was like, why is it talking about the kids or family or life during date night a bad thing? And I feel like there's this preconceived notion, there's this notion that people have, that it's when we have to shut everything off and just talk about something different. We don't want to talk about the kids and family because it's date night. We don't want to talk about business because it's date night, right? Think about that for 2 seconds. Why would you want to shut off life?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to talk about then? And that in and of itself, that idea, well, shit, all we're doing is talking about business. What's wrong with that? Or all we talk about is the kids. What's wrong with that? Or all we talk about is you or me or my things or your things. It was a really powerful moment, because for you and I, we don't separate business and home. We don't separate work and pleasure. We've found, not only through trial and error, but the real connection in life is we're living this experience. We have kids, we have life, we have fears, we have demons, we have bills, we have business, we have dogs, we have all of these things. And the idea of separating these things is a conflict in and of itself.
Yeah. And
so there's a lot of people, I asked the entire room, there's 40 people in there, how many of you vibe with this and have had this question? And every single person raised their hands, because it's we go on date night and we're supposed to do something else. We're supposed to invest in something else, or we're supposed to talk about something else, or there needs to be a different conversation. We don't want to talk about business. And it was just really fascinating, because this gentleman's wife got really emotional, and I'm like, don't you want to know who he is? Don't you want to know what's in his heart and in his mind? And as a wife, you want to know what's inside of me. You want to know everything, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa. And so if we're sitting on date night and you're wanting to talk to me about the kids and things happening in the world and things happening in their lives and things happening in your life, why the fuck would I not want to hear those things? Or if I'm sitting at dinner talking about what's going on at work and where I'm at with this partnership or this deal or this investment or this, that, and the other, why the fuck would you want me to not talk about those things or to talk about something different? And there's this idea somehow, somewhere, that got planted into this system that we have, that we don't talk about these things in date night. And I share this with you guys and propose this as a different train of thought, if you will, to really contemplate like what we're connecting on. Like where are we really connecting, and where did these rules around we don't talk about business during date night, or we don't talk about kids, or we don't whatever. Like what do you talk about then?
I love that we talk about it, because we are we're dreamers, and that part of those most of those conversations are about, it's like having a verbal vision board. Like we are always and this, and also to have a trusted counsel in your partner, to where you want to share things and get feedback to, see different ways of looking at it, and having that connection of being partners, being teammates. I think a lot of women, especially, where they'll have like hesitation with that. It's probably because the information they're being given is just negative complaining. Right. Now you have to have boundaries. If you're going to talk about business, don't come in and just dump your shit on your partner. Like, have it be productive, have it be expansive, have it be about something that it's like you're excited about. If you're just complaining about your job, there really is not a lot of room for that at date night, because
but hang on, let me stop you. That leads to a way bigger conversation, right? If someone's constantly complaining about something, it's way bigger than what it is that they're talking about.
Let me finish this thought though, because if this is what's coming at date night, someone like the individual at the event, she may be so starved for connection about them, because maybe that's all she's getting is just like, she's just a sounding board for shit. And so maybe her forceful way is saying, I'm shutting down this conversation. So it narrows the conversation coming in hopes that she's going to get some connection. Now, that whole system is fucked, both parties.
Exactly.
But I think that what's happening is in that scenario, that's what I vibed on when I heard them talk, is it's more of like she's so hungry for let's connect that she's putting rules and structures and walls around something instead of opening the flow, instead of having trust in communication. There's just a whole lot of, the
rest of that conversation obviously led to where he really was and where she
really
really was.
Exactly. So I think that's just a common thing is if you're gonna bring energy into your date nights, bring good energy, bring expansive, bring excitement, and of course you're allowed to have shitty days, but just be mindful of the energy you're bringing to the table in all relationships, in all situations. That's all.
See, and the reason I inject that and said that is like, to me, I would rather have you bring me truth than be worried about being chipper and up, right? You're going to be all flirty and uppity if you're really not. I don't want that. I don't want fake. Like, I want real. I would rather have you bring to date night, I'm struggling, I'm stressed, I'm crying, I'm emotional, and then I can really see what's going on. And the reason you bring that is because you feel safe, because this is our spot. This is where we connect, right?
And that approach, what you just said, is the way to do it.
Right.
Is expressing your truth in from your, like, this is how I'm feeling.
If somebody's dumping shit on date night, they're probably dumping shit all the time, which means you have a way bigger fucking conversation. But I truly believe that, like, this idea of we have to disconnect and talk about other things, or we have to, it might not be right. Let me rephrase that. It's not that it's right or wrong. It's just there might be a different way to look at it. And a different way to look at it is like not necessarily what we're talking about. It's the fact that we're talking.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we're connecting. It's the fact that, like, I feel safe and comfortable and desirous enough about our relationship on this date night to talk about the things that are really happening in my world, that are really happening in my life. And there are no distractions. There are no cell phones. Rule number one of date night, turn your goddamn fucking cell phone off, man. Like, get off your fucking cell phone. Leave it in the car. Leave it, like, just shut it fucking off, man. Like, again, you see people all the time out and about. And we're on our phones a lot too.
Yeah.
When we're on date night, though, there are very specific rules. Like, there are times where you and I go out to dinner, it's not a date night, and you're showing me shit and I'm showing you shit, and we're on our phones quite a bit. The other night we were doing that. We were looking at yurts and looking at all these other things. Yeah. Totally fine. But on date night, like, this is a no distraction zone. This is a no outside influence zone. And I think that's what's important to really understand about this conversation is, if the building was on fire, somebody else is going to call 911. Right, fellas? Like, listen, you don't need to be connected to the office 24/7, because the truth is, like, even if the building was on fire, what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you legitimately going to do? run over and put it out. Somebody's already called 911. There's nothing you can do. The truth is, if your kid falls down and bangs his head, he's going to walk it off. If the kid's fucking bleeding, chances are the babysitter has half of a brain to either put a Band-Aid on it or to call 911. Right. And then they'll let you know, right? And so I don't mean light of that. As a father of 3 of my own children, 5 children total, I've been through this.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this is like. And I speak from experience of being a father that, like, when you go on day night, when you're disconnected and you're there, like, you have to be there, man.
Yeah.
Like, leaving your kids with a babysitter, it's an investment of your time. It's an investment into your sanity. Mm-hmm. So there is no excuse, men or women, to be like, well, we have kids and we can't leave them home. Bullshit.
You can leave a new baby home for a couple
you leave
hours.
A fucking new baby home with a goddamn bottle, and you can disappear for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. That's just truth, right? Mm-hmm. Anything else is a story. Anything else is a story. But what's important about this is to understand that, like, if that's not there, if that's not a priority, just like anything else, if you're not feeding that, if you're not watering, nourishing, pruning your relationship, investing in it, don't be surprised that it dies. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised when all of a sudden you find yourself looking at each other going, we don't know who we are. We don't know if we love each other anymore. When's the last time you guys connected? Right. When's the last time you invested in your relationship? I don't know, 10 years ago? Yeah. It's like, well, why do you think it's fucking dead, right? Yeah. We talked about the cell phones. That was, like, really the only other, like, major thing that I wanted to, like, emphasize, like, kind of the rules of date night.
Yeah.
To me, that's really the only rule. Are there any other rules that you want to put around date night, babe, or that you think should be talked about with date night?
No, the phones are number one. No, I mean, my brain was just thinking about kids, and I know a lot of parents are like, oh, well, we have these kids. Remember why you had the kids. Remember how they were made. Right. Remember who you were together that even led you to making a family. Right. And this may sound crazy to some people, but this has been my belief since I had kids. Is my kids don't come before my relationship with my husband. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're dating, that's not as applicable, but we are number one, right, because they are our responsibility below us. Right. We are modeling we're modeling everything to them. Right. So nurturing this one, like keeping us on the same team, keeping this connected, keeping this strong and growing is number one. Yep. I mean, obviously singular is number one, but in the structure of, like, kids that, like, don't put this can't be
this can't be negotiable.
Yes.
And I think the reason that we wanted to talk about this and the reason this is so important to us is to have this conversation now, especially on the podcast, is this is how important it is to us.
Yeah.
And this is something that we talk about frequently, and in coaching people and having couples that work with us and having dozens and dozens and dozens of couples in the Lion's Den, this is conversation that continues to come up, and I really can't emphasize and stress enough how important this must be to your relationship, not only for yourself but to your relationship. And there are a lot of people that are struggling in their relationships. There are a lot of people struggling in connection. There's a lot of people struggling in connection. There's a lot of married couples that are disconnected and don't know how to reconnect and have tried this and tried that and tried all these other things. And I think the reason that date night is so fucking important is for me, it allows it. I don't say it allows. It's an opportunity for me to, like, reconnect back to that simplicity, right? And I try and do that as often as possible, not just on date night, but for me to be able to say, you know, we did these simple things when we were dating, and that's how we fell in love. I want to continue to do those simple things. I want to just go on the razor ride. I want to watch the sunset. I want to sit on a blanket on the side of the hill. I want to just go on a motorcycle ride. You know what I mean? Go on a drive. Like times where we just went on a drive in the Roadrunner and just literally stopped and got food and sat at the top of a fucking hill and ate food in the car or the truck, right?
And I love the opportunity of effort. Like, I get a reason in my day-to-day grind to get dolled up. I mean, even if we're only going to the same restaurant that we go to on Tuesday, I'm still going to give myself that opportunity to wash my hair, to do my hair, to put makeup on, to wear my stilettos. I mean, no, I see this a lot. It's like, oh, you know, people just, women, especially with kids, like they're just like, oh, messy bun, flip flops, low effort. But you're not going to feel sexy doing that. And therefore, you're not going to have that extra oomph of the whole date night. So do it. Like, show up for it in every way possible that you can. And do it every week.
Yep.
It was so fun.
What are your favorite date night memories? Share a favorite date night memory.
I love the Harley a lot because I get to snuggle up on you. But that's my love language, physical touch and quality time. Like, the Harley is made for that. I really love, one of my very favorites was when we went on the Harley up the canyon and had a blanket and we just laid by the lake, and there was like dragonflies, and I think we brought a bottle of wine, and it was so fun. Another one,
just like took a nap. We like laid next to a freaking pond lake,
and we just talked. Talked. Another one was when I did the little picnic table, the little dining room table up in the mountains, and I had it catered, and my kids were a part of that. They set it all up, and I surprised Sean with this fancy dinner in the mountains on the trail, and they scurried off and went home after I
was hangry. I was pissed off. I'm like, let's go fucking eat. Like, let's go. We got to go eat.
We need to go hike up here real quick. Which,
like, dude, we're not hiking.
If you know me, that wouldn't be like totally out of the ordinary to do something off the wall. Like, hold on, we have to go on a quick hike really fast before dinner. But, you know, moments like that, and they're simple. They're simple. It's just us being together.
The disconnection, I really think, is such a huge thing. This disconnection, meaning the cell phones and the disconnection. And I know for me, having it dedicated, having it set, having a ritualistic deal, the same way we have morning rituals, whatever that is, evening rituals, having like your week ritual, your date night ritual is really important to me, because it's like I shut it all off. And it's rare that I shut everything off. But when you shut it all off, it's almost like this relief, like this breath of fresh air, where it's just us doing what we're doing and being wherever we are. And I think it's hugely impactful for our relationship.
And you know, I just had this pop in my head. Is maybe if you're the one planning, I'm going to talk to guys. If you're the one planning it out, 4 weeks in a month, say you have one that's just simple. It's like just nature, go to nature, whatever that looks like. Another one that's like, something crazy you've never done. If it's, skydiving or a salt bath or whatever it is. And then maybe one's creative. And another one is, it could be like something that's big on connection. If you almost like give it a theme, it might make it easier to like keep exploring. If you have, 4 basic structures of what
Good
those
ideas.
dates look like. Yeah.
Remember when you were dating too, like dating,
Yeah.
like pre-marriage or pre-relationship dating, it was always like when you had a date plan, you got dressed up, you put cologne on,
Oh my
and
God,
perfume,
I loved
and
when
you
you
looked
picked me up for our
good.
dates.
Why?
Because you were just the cutest.
I still am.
Oh, I know, but like I just remember you coming to my front door, and I was like, oh, hi.
You were horny, is what you were.
Yeah, no, but you were
had
so
the
handsome,
hots.
and you always smell so good.
And I still smell good.
I know.
Smells a big thing for me. Like
Smells a big
stinky
thing.
people, just it's not attractive. You want to go on a date and connect with a human being, don't smell like shit. Yeah. What else do you want to add to this, babe? What else do we want to share on this? I want to tell people how to have date nights. These are ideas that we have, like simple stuff, nice stuff, bougie stuff, experiencing new restaurants, going new places, doing new things that you haven't done. There's so many different options, but if you're lacking on ideas and what to do, what did you do when you fell in love?
Yeah.
What did you do when you're dating? You went bowling? Great. Go fucking bowling. You went and had picnics? Awesome. Go have picnics. You hiked? Go hike. Whatever it is, like, go do that shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where you are financially. Just go do that stuff.
Yeah, and be very, very, be very cautious. Like, don't involve other people just because they have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, make it about you guys. Don't bring your kids just because you don't have a babysitter. Like, make it about you guys.
Yeah. We've had options with other people. They're like, hey, let's go on like double date, triple date, whatever. And it's like, no, this is our date night. We can do couples night another night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that we do date night.
I love it so much. Just love the way you want to be loved.
Yeah.
That's like my model for everything is, I know you hear like treat people the way you want to be treated, but truly do that.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? Like, if you could build this perfect partner, what would they do for you? Do that then.
Right.
What would they say to you? Say that then. How would they touch you? Then touch like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that drives me and keeps me on course. Like, that's how I process this. And so if you're doing that, like, that's that abundance. It's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
And that models your partner, you know, what you want in your life.
Yeah. You value what you invest in,
Mm-hmm.
and you invest in what you value. I believe that 100%.
Yeah, I do
If
too.
you value your relationship, you invest in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you invest in your relationship, you will value it for sure.
Yeah.
If you invest in your partner, if you invest in these times and these moments, it will pay a dividend, period. End of story. No matter how pissed off, we've been pissed off before.
We've been mad on date nights.
We've had not so glorious times, and we're like, fuck it, we got to go to, we're going on date night. And it typically always changes the game.
Mm-hmm. Does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus we have sex, and it's great. We always have sex on date night. All right, guys. Date nights. Saxony, follow her lead. She's got great ideas and all of the fun, bougie stuff to do. But make sure you make date night a priority.
Yeah.
Make it a real priority. Invest in it. Make it fun. Make it cool. Make it a priority. Anything else, babe?
Nope. I think it's good.
All right. Love you guys. See you next time.
Okay, bye.